Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
In the name
Hare Krishna, and welcome to this week's virtual Sunday Feast program. On behalf of ISKCON Chicago and ISKCON Naperville, we're doing a combined Sunday Feast, and this is also the culmination of a virtual winter retreat titled Gratitude During Difficult Times. Before moving on to the final portion of this weekend program, just a quick announcement. On behalf of ISKCON Naperville, there is a special New Year event where there is a Harinam Mahayagya. So it's a virtual event, and information is available on the ISKCON Naperville website, where collectively on January 1st, we will chant 6 million holy names. And just because it's ISKCON Naperville putting it on doesn't mean we can't all participate and support that event to help reach that goal of 6 million holy names, and it's a fantastic way to ring in the new year. So more information at ISKCON Naperville's website. Finally, I'll turn it over to His Holiness Romapada Swami, who's going to be completing this weekend event titled Today's Challenging Times, maintaining gratitude.
Now, if we have kirtan, how do they participate? Just auditory, they can't really respond. Here we go. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Adi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Adi Gopi Jana Balabha Girivadhari Gopi Jana Balabha Girivadhari Yasoda Nandana Brajachana Nandana Yasoda Nandana Brajachana Nandana Yamana Tira Brajachani Yamana Tira Brajachani Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Madhava Kunjabihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jasoda Nandana Brajachana Nandana Jasoda Nandana Brajachana Nandana Jamana Tira Brajachani Jamana Tira Brajachani Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Hari Vajracharya Astatara Sri Mother's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Gaura Premanandi. For those of you that have been attending the classes this weekend and Friday, this holiday, you've gotten a very broad, comprehensive look at gratitude, and specifically gratitude when there's difficult circumstances. That's You have to be a little transcendental to feel gratitude when there's difficult circumstances. And the times that we're passing through, pretty obvious in the upper right-hand corner, it's a COVID virus. And in the upper left-hand corner, that's hurricane down there in the Gulf, heading for somewhere in the lower regions of the United States, and other diseases, and lots of difficulties of many descriptions. So how to maintain, how to feel gratitude, even during those difficult times that we're passing through. Here's a dictionary definition, conventional sense of gratitude. Readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. So you receive and you extend. Kindness has been given to you of one kind or another. And from your side, there's an eagerness, a gratitude, a feeling to show and return kindness that's been given to you. That's a conventional sense. Now here's a scriptural sense. Shastra Praman. Krita is the key word here. That's what one receives, krita. And gratitude is krita gya. Gya syllable means to know that you have received krita, or a favor. It's something you feel and something you do from that feeling. Now this definition comes from Rupa Goswami's writing. This is the translation. I'll show you the Sanskrit in a moment. A grateful person is one who acknowledges others who have done service. That's his definition, Rupa Goswami. It's a definition describing one of Krishna's qualities. Those of you that like to read Prabhupada's books, you know that in Nectar Devotion there's description, a list and description of each of Krishna's qualities. It's drawn from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And grateful is one of Krishna's qualities. There's a spiritual grateful. And this is the definition in Sanskrit. Kritagya syad abhigyosya krita sevadi karmanam. A grateful person is one who acknowledges others who have done service. We heard already, but remind you, the example that Rupa Goswami gives of Krishna's quality of gratitude is what he feels long after Draupadi called very feelingly and very loudly Krishna's name, Govinda. Even he was far away. And for her calling his name, that's a service. Krishna's feeling rin, or indebted, grateful to her, and wants to repay her even today, and it's ever growing. That's the example given by Rupa Goswami from this very verse, the very next verse in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Now, notice the Sanskrit. It's krita gya, that's grateful, and krita gna is the opposite, ungrateful. Gna means to kill or destroy. So that which has been given to one and one doesn't acknowledge it at the heart level or at the speech level or behavior level or any level, that's ungrateful. Now we're going to give two examples of grateful and ungrateful, because we heard this morning people were saying, hey, where's Ramayan and all of this? So this is a Ramayan example. I couldn't find a better illustration, but this is the mountain that rose from the sea, Minda, right? That rose from the sea when Hanuman was crossing the sea, and Minda wanted to render some service. And the explanation given by Minda was, one of your ancestors, one of Ram's ancestors, King Sarga, expanded the boundaries of the ocean, and thus I am the deity within the ocean, and I want to repay that service that Ram did, and now is my opportunity because you're on a mission of service to Ram. So let me serve you who are on a mission to serve Ram, because Ram did something for us, the sea. There you see the Sanskrit. The key is Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma is Krite cha prati kartavyam esha. Or one should acknowledge a favor and try to pay it back. This is Sanatan Dharma. Pretty nice, huh? One should acknowledge a favor and try to pay it back. This is Sanatan Dharma. So within the story, this is Sundara Kanda. It's Sundara Hanuman, who's on a mission of serving Ram. And one who's on a mission of serving Ram, we offer respect because they're doing such nice service for Ram, and particularly the ocean, because the ocean benefited directly by even a distant ancestor of Ram. Let me pay back. Try. So what did Hanuman do? He said, sorry, I'm on a mission, but because you've come, he touched the mountain with his benedicting hand, smiled, and continued on his journey. He acknowledged the favor, didn't say, get out of my way, I've got a greater mission than offering respect to you. Hanuman was very graceful and noble, so he honored the mountain service, but continued. And then, another Ramayan example is just the opposite. In case you don't recognize who that is, with the crown on, that's Sugriva, king of the monkeys. And over here, they have a beard. That's not normally how we find Ram and Lakshman, but it's Ram and Lakshman. And Ram is feeling very sorrowful in the absence of Sita, and Lakshman is trying to placate Ram. And the 4 months of the rainy season have passed when Sugriva promised, he made a pledge to help Ram regain Sita now that Sugriva regained his wife. So Lakshman came bearing a message from Ram to let Sugriva know 4 months of the rainy season have passed. You made a promise, and you're not fulfilling your promise. Only Lakshman was not just like gently delivering a message. He was on fire. And several things happened, but when he came before Sugriva finally, he said, Brahmagne, see, remember that recognize that syllable G-H-N-E means to destroy or to kill. So that first word means killing a Brahmana, Brahmagne. Cha, Surape, that means becoming a drunkard or drinking alcohol. Cha, Chore, means a thief, like Krishna was Makanchor. Chore. And Bhanga, Vrate, a breaker of a vow. We spoke some things this morning and yesterday about vows and keeping vows and so forth. So then those are 4 cases of persons who, Nishkritir. Nishkriti means atonement. So there are regulations or means for atoning for those 4 sins. But this other one, kritagne, that is being ungrateful, na asti nishkriti. Nishkriti, atonement. There's no atonement. There's no way to counteract the offense of lacking in gratitude, being ungrateful. Sugriva, you're ungrateful, and there's no atonement for you. And I've got a really sharp sword and bow and arrows here. I'll fix your problem. He didn't do that, but he was teaching a lesson. So Ramayana is filled with lessons of culture or the violation of culture, as Mahabharata is similarly. People that don't read these literatures, they really don't know what culture is. They don't have a clue. They have their own idea, but it's vox populi culture and not really what culture is from any scriptural standard. So this is our Shastra Paman. What gratitude and the opposite, ungrateful or violating of gratitude. There's no atonement for that. That's pretty serious. Here's some general statement that Prabhupada made about gratitude. Gratitude is to see beyond the immediate circumstances that come upon us. Now, the scene, the picture here is a sunset, and it's really beautiful. So one would go, wow, look at that beautiful sunset. And Prabhupada is encouraging us to see what's beyond the beautiful sunset. That is the person that's behind the creation. If you think that the art is beautiful, you should see the artist. This is just the spark of his beauty, Krishna. Now, another nice example that's related to our founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada, I don't have my little sound device that amplifies sound. Do you have yours? Do you have a microphone? I can put it by my computer, right by your left knee. I hope this will work. Oh, it's not increasing in volume. Not increasing in volume. Hang on, folks.
This going on activities, and by the grace of Krishna, my business also is not going very well. Krishna says, the Sahon Vidyudani Vrisetam Dhanamsa. If somebody wants to be actually devotee of Krishna, at the same time keeps his material attachment, then Krishna's business is he takes away everything material so that same person he becomes dependent on him. So that actually happened to my life. I was obliged to come to his own life, to take on this very seriously. And I was dreaming that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is calling me. Please come out with me. So I was sometimes horrified. What is this? I have to give up my family life. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is calling me. I have to take some gas. Oh, I was horrified. But I saw several times calling. Anyway, it is by His grace I was forced to give up my family life, my so-called business life. And He brought me somewhere or other in preaching His gospel. So, this is a memorable day. What He deserved. I am trying a little bit, and you are all helping me. So I have to thank you all. You are actually representative of my Maharaj. Because you are helping me in executing the order of my Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much.
That was Prabhupada speaking on the occasion of the disappearance day of Bhaktisiddhanta. And if my memory is right, I remember hearing this lecture long ago. It was from Seattle. A very powerful message. By time and space separated from Bhaktisiddhanta, but not by heart and consciousness separated from Bhaktisiddhanta. And feeling very grateful. So that's the concept of gratitude with different images to help us get a sense of gratitude, and then comes the difficult times part. And there are more common responses than feeling gratitude. Here's one response. Oh no. Look at this situation. What am I going to do? Perplexed. Or fearful. No. Or more meandering through a forest of uncertainty. Look at the image that's on the backpack. The face that looks like... it's kind of how I have been considering, the COVID situation. When we had no idea, I had no experience in this lifetime, at least, of all the uncertainties and making plans and this and that, and you can't make plans hardly. Who knows? There's so much uncertainty surrounding almost anything, except certainty that there's going to be uncertainty. And that's difficult to handle, because we're used to at least some semblance of certainty. And it leads to negative emotions, commonly. Anxiety disorders are spiking in the course of the COVID times and our times in general. It's been a very turbulent year, I think worldwide, certainly in America. And from a scriptural point of view, the very nature of the place in which we live, it's like that, sometimes more, sometimes less. But according to Bhagavad Gita, dukkhalayam shashvatam, that's the nature of the place. It's a place that's dukkha, it's a place of misery, and ashashvatam. It's all temporary. By design, that's the nature of the place. That's where we are. Temporary place of misery. Not very inviting, is it? And then add to that the teaching of the Bhagavatam, padam yadvipadam natesham. There's calamity, vipadam, calamity, step by step. That's the nature of the place. So it doesn't make it easier to feel grateful during difficult times when calamity and misery and temporary everything. Remaining grateful at heart. So something that helps, or in the absence of this, not understanding what the greatest of all misfortunes is, we'll never find our way out of this situation. According to the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 2, the greatest misfortune is when the living entity thus turns away from the Supreme Lord. He also forgets his own constitutional position as a servant of the Lord. This bewildering, fearful condition is effected by the potency for illusion called Maya. Interesting drawing, huh? Going on a little journey in a boat to some place that looks pretty nice, and on the other side there's the dark of night and the scepter of death. So where is this journey taking us? No certainty. Very fearful condition. And watch the image, because a man's face is going to appear. It's perplexing. Now, thoughtful persons, and we're addressing all of you because you're thoughtful persons. Otherwise, on Sunday afternoon, you'd be off doing something else besides what you're doing right now. You're thoughtful persons. This greatest misfortune can be checked. And something that we've been discussing, not during specifically during this weekend or holiday winter retreat, but the verses from Brahma's prayers, we've been speaking about it, those of you that have been attending some of the classes, but Namanta Eva. Namanta Eva. Eva in this case is being translated by Prabhupada as certainly or simply, and Namanta. So offering our obeisances. Now the offering obeisances specific to Brahma's prayers is to the topics of Krishna, as they are heard from Krishna, like Bhagavad Gita, or from Krishna's devotees, like Srimad Bhagavatam. Namanta Eva. Dedication, giving of oneself in the spiritual sense of self, Namanta Eva, to these topics. Nice image. This is Brahma, the original personality of the universe, the head of our sampradaya, the creator of the universe, the most intelligent person in the universe, coming before Krishna in Vrindavan, recognizing Krishna's supremacy. In so many nice prayers, he's indicating very clearly this little 5-year-old boy, looking at least 5-year-old boy, in his pastime stage, is the cause of all causes, the source of everything that exists. So he's offering prayers of how to get beyond, how to have a grateful heart, even when there's circumstances that are, as we just described, filled with misery, temporary, by their very nature miserable, And, it's not, a prison house is not designed to be comfortable. That's not why it's there. It's not its purpose. So there is discomfort here. And it's course correction or heart correction. And how to make that heart correction, this is a very celebrated verse. Those of us in the room, we can say the verse together. Jnane prayasam udapasya namanta eva jivanti sanmukharitam bhavadiya vartam stane statakshuti gatam tanavan manobhir ye prayaso jitajito pyasi traistrilokyam. I've become very fond of this verse. Lord Chaitanya was fond of this verse, and by speaking about it and meditating on it again and again, I've become more and more fond of it. That's where this Namanta Eva phrase comes. You see at the end of the first line. We'll go through the Sanskrit and then I'll go through the translation. Notice it's color-coded, so when you see the translation, you'll see the color coding also. The first part, Jnane Prayasa Udapasya. Prayasa means to endeavor, and to endeavor to understand the perplexities and complexities of life and what's on the other side of it. By speculative knowledge, jnana is to be udapasya, to be cast far away. That's the first part. That's the do not. Don't cling to your speculative capacities, trying to understand what's what. Instead, namanta eva. Namanta, offering one's respects simply. Namanta eva. And respects to what? To bhavadiya vartam, to topics in relation to Krishna. San mukharitam, those which are heard from Krishna's devotees or heard from Krishna. So the namanta eva is to the topics of Krishna. And similarly, the shruti gatam, it's that which shruti is that which one has heard, or heard from scripture, or heard from proper authorities, Krishna or Krishna's representative. And the dedication to those topics is tanu, that's the body, van or vak, that's speech, and mana, mind. The dedication, namanta eva, to these topics, or in the yellow letters there is jivanti. Just live, abide by, dedicate oneself to these topics. So here we are in this perplexing, temporary, by design, uncomfortable, miserable place. We're in a prison house, and it's not nice. We want to make it nice, but it's, whatever you do, it doesn't become what nice really is. So what do? How do you feel grateful for being in that situation? By developing a higher consciousness in this human form of life. That's the mission of the human form of life, not making an uncomfortable place comfortable, but making the consciousness of the soul that's in this human form of life transcendental, namanta eva, by topics in relation to Krishna. Dedication to those topics. And yay, prayasa, there's this word prayasa again. And that's by making endeavor. One that Krishna, who is unconquerable, becomes conquered. It's not like we want to conquer Krishna, but he becomes so moved by one who has dedicated themselves in that way, then you enter into the transcendental position. If you just remember, for the third time or fourth time, how Krishna felt when Draupadi in great distress, called out very feelingly and very loudly to Krishna, who was in a distant place. He was in Dwarka, and she was in Hastinapur. And her calling, Krishna heard. So it wasn't like she had a PA system. She called with such feeling that Krishna heard, and Krishna came. And not only he came, not only he provided her sari, but long, long after, he's still feeling indebted to her. He's been conquered by her. She wasn't trying to conquer him. She was seeking his protection in a situation that was very distressful, abominable, and seeking his protection and shelter. That was her consciousness, and Krishna's consciousness was indebted to her. She's indebted to him. She rescued him. He rescued her. And he's indebted to her for calling, as she did. So here's the translation. Those who, even while remaining situated in their established social positions, that's this stane statak part, throw away the process of speculative knowledge and, with their body, words, and mind, tanuvan manobir, they offer all respects to the descriptions of your personality and activities, dedicating their lives to these narrations, Bhavadiya Vartam, which are vibrated by you personally and by your pure devotees, Sanmukharitam. Certainly conquer your lordship, although you are otherwise unconquerable by anyone within the three worlds. The goal is not to conquer Krishna, the goal is to connect with Krishna. When one connects with Krishna in this manner, then transcendence and feelings of gratitude. How did Draupadi feel when Krishna appeared in the sky, invisible to everybody else, but provided unlimited sari and foiled the heinous behavior of Dushasana and the rest of the Kauravas? How did she feel? She probably felt really grateful. And more than grateful. And so and before that her life was dedicated. It wasn't only circumstance created and then later, okay, thanks a lot, see you later, Krishna. She was not like that. She was consistently dedicated. And those who are wishing to feel grateful in the midst of difficult times, it worked then, but that the same principle doesn't apply today. Well, that's a mistaken understanding. These are modern times, and modern times have their own complexities and challenges and so forth. The principle doesn't change through time. Principle doesn't change through time. One can feel gratitude. You can feel that Krishna connection and Krishna's protection and Krishna's kindness even in the most difficult circumstances. There's a very nice verse which is in Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, the last little section of that series of verses that describes samadhi. But when one is in that state of dedication of consciousness to Krishna, the miseries of material existence cease to exist. I mean, they're around you, they exist, but your experience of them ceases to exist. It's pretty amazing. Those of you that have Bhagavad Gitas, you can look it up. Chapter 6, description of samadhi, starting around verse 20 or so. Read the verse. It's in the very wonderful purport. When that sense of connection is there, then there's a spiritual joy. I like this image that little flower may have grown naturally. Maybe somebody just stuck it in the crack in the sidewalk, but there's joy to be had even in the midst of duality, where there isn't something to be joyful about in the duality situation surrounding you. But joy is something that comes from within. Many verses in Bhagavad Gita speak about that joyfulness within. This is yoga. And it's not just one that does Hatha Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga and you feel the joy within. It's the culmination of all yoga systems, the bhakti. One feels a joy within, a spiritual joy. And that spiritual joy is to know who you are. And part of knowing who you are is knowing who you aren't. Because we're too much identifying with who we aren't instead of who we are. So it's hard to progress to spiritual joy. But a symptom of that, this is found in 2 places in Bhagavad Gita, the Brahmabhuta phrase. Brahmabhuta, in one sense, in simple terms, it means to know who you are. To know that you are Brahman. And the first symptom, prasanatma, that spiritual joy that's within. And when there's spiritual joy within, the out can be duality of this type or that type. But na sochati, na kanksati, hankering and lamenting. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Triple guaranteed. Misery. So you have to have a plan. You have to have an idea of how you're going to move with your left foot or your right foot next, in what direction. So when you're living a life of devotion, the direction that you take in your activities is to know yourself. And to know yourself means to know Krishna. And to know Krishna means to serve Krishna. Then you can know Krishna, then you can know yourself. And as you get closer to that, prasanatma, nasochati nakanksati, samak sarveshu bhuteshu. Just yesterday, Friday was Gita Jayanti, so you probably all have your Bhagavad Gitas by now, and probably have given gifts of Bhagavad Gita to many people. So look up this verse. It's a nice verse to learn. And enter into the meaning of it, not just learn what it says, but enter into the meaning. Samak sarveshu bhuteshu is the next line. Sarva bhuteshu, all living entities. Sama, seeing with equal vision. Sama, seeing with equal vision, all living entities. And treating others with that equal vision. That is, the kindness that has come to you through Krishna, you extend that kindness that's come to you through Krishna to others. Appropriately. Maybe different ways that kindness is shown to different personalities in different circumstances. But in principle, samak sarveshu bhuteshu. Then, mad bhaktim labate param. Then your devotional service begins. So now we're just in preparation stage, practicing class. That's good. We're doing sadhana bhakti. And then bhava bhakti, where it's spontaneous, because devotional service is who we are. And that being who you are, that's joyful. And being who you aren't is pretty uncomfortable. That's a diseased condition. And we're living in an atmosphere that's filled with diseased people, not just, COVID-19 victims, but people that have the material disease, this greatest misery of Maya, and being moved by Maya and don't even know it. And we're to a large extent moved by Maya, and we don't know it. We're also diseased. So this is like, the nice hospital where we can get well and feel grateful as we're becoming well. and especially being able to associate with other people who are not diseased, who are well. That's really good fortune. That's sadhu sangha. So we have that opportunity. It's being extended to us by the grace of our founder Acharya. And, in the hospital, there's still some people that are diseased, and there's some devotees that are less than Brahmabhuta stage devotees. But the process, the bhakti process, practicing bhakti process, has the potential to carry us to that gratitude position. And then deal in practical terms with the duality that's moving around us. Sometimes this and sometimes that. That's the path of bhakti. And all the while, chanting the holy name as our foundational core practice of bhakti. So there she is. She's going through that same forest of uncertainty, but there's a lot of light on her path because of the chanting of the holy name. And we can be in that same position. Move towards the light. Jyotir Gama. Go towards the light. That's a joyful process, a joyful path. So there we are. Experiencing gratitude even in the midst of our difficult modern times. Compliments of Krishna, his teaching of Bhagavad Gita, further elaboration of that teaching in Srimad Bhagavatam and rooted in the holy name. So let's see if there's some discussion. Purposefully, this was a little bit on the shorter side, so we could have lots of time for discussion. But already it's 40 minutes, 50 minutes. Wasn't so short after all. Sorry about that. Well, we have 10 minutes for discussion. Anybody have some questions? Let's do online, if there's online. Nothing? Okay. Anybody in the room? Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm ready to move on. Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for joining, especially those who are virtually traveling from afar to participate in this retreat and festival. Just wanted to make a quick announcement on behalf of the entire organizing team, especially given the theme is gratitude in difficult times. I think that the fact that this retreat came together so well is also a testament of that. It's a difficult circumstance, and wanting to express gratitude to everybody involved. So starting with a big thank you to you, Maharaj, Shamsundar Prabhu, Deva Madhava Prabhu, and Radhakrishna Prabhu for sharing their time and association with us and leading us through thought-provoking discussions. We would not have a retreat without you all. And also thank yous to Rati Prabhu, Shri Rupa Mataji, Shatarupa Mataji, Shruti and Mukunda, Neela Madhava, and Bhagavan, and Shruti Mungara for their kirtans and interactive exercises. It really added a wonderful dimension to this retreat, utilizing your talents, your skills, and also your meditation to help us assimilate what we were hearing. And a huge thank you and shout out to Vamsi Dari Prabhu, who made this online retreat possible with his hours of research, high-tech equipment, on-the-fly troubleshooting. He made this experience possible, and it went extremely smoothly, and we're very grateful and indebted to you for your hard work. And also a big thank you to Kaumadi for all of her management from afar. She was the one pulling the strings and making things happen behind the scenes, making sure the Zoom pieces were working, recordings were started, taking care of all the concerns expressed by devotees, so really helping this event to function smoothly. Also to Sri Radhika Mataji and Yamuna Jivan Prabhu for opening up your home. especially so last minute. So during this time, she not only brought us all in to set up the broadcast, but fed us really tasty snacks to keep us happy and warm, and thoughtfully arranged her home. And she even postponed her husband's return from India to make sure this event ran smoothly.
But he's returning tomorrow.
Yes, Marge.
But for our audience.
Yes, he is returning.
He's not permanently barred from his home.
And also, thank you, a huge thank you to Sundari Radha Mataji for... And this one I'm improvising because she did not type this one out for me to read. But she did an amazing job making sure that everything ran smooth, and just observing, this is one of the retreats I've attended where the main organizer was not running around with their heads cut off. It was so smooth, so well organized, and so calm, and really that presence was felt, I think, with everybody that was assisting you in this service. So thank you for making this a wonderful experience that I'm sure we'll carry with us for many more days and hopefully years beyond this actual event. And then most importantly, thank you everybody for participating in this retreat. It wouldn't be possible without your enthusiastic participation, your feedback, your questions, enriching the discussion. And it's really wonderful that we can all get together even virtually to explore this topic of gratitude in difficult times. So lots of thank yous around for a fantastic experience. Hare Krishna.
Thanks to our MC.
Yes, thank you to our MC as well.
You have some surprises over there?
Oh, yes, as they're leaving. I have some snacks.
Oh, good.
Should we end it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhus. Thank you very much. Thank you.